Hello again, everyone. Just wanted to show off my Movie Masters Superman, based upon the Man of Steel movie, and the actor Henry Cavill, I believe is how his name is pronounced. So this isn't an action figure review, this is just action figure chat. Lots of reviewers will show you points of articulation and etc. I just want to show off my cool action figure and speak a little bit about him. And maybe I'll get 2 viewers, and that's fine, because I'm just doing this to show off my action figure. So essentially it's got a great physique. Everything's really cool and in proportion, probably like the actor himself. And it's just beautiful. The cape is beautiful, it's rubber. The suit is obviously the new styled suit, which is fantastic, you know, minus the underwear on the outside that we know and love from Superman, which I personally don't mind, but I think this suit looks really cool too. One thing I'll say about these action figures, if you move them too much, especially near the ankles, it seems to loosen really quickly. I can feel this one getting loose already, and then they're difficult to stand because they're so heavy, but they're really, really cool. So if you're an adult collector, that doesn't present a problem, because once you've got them posed, you can keep them in that pose, like I normally do. Suit is really awesome, and if you look close up, and I don't know if this camera will catch much of this, there's a lot of detailing and you know, little bumps and grooves and such to give it a texture. Now, the one thing I will say about this, and I don't know if I'll get a lot of hate for it, and this is only my personal opinion, the odd thing, even though I love the action figure so much, I really love this. I think it's fantastic. The length of the cape, everything is perfect. They did a stellar job on this guy. He looks, if you look at his face, and I don't know how well this camera will get it. It's a GoPro I'm using. He looks a lot like Ted Bundy, the serial killer. And I know that's probably an odd thing to say, but when I did look at him in the package and open the package, that's the first thing I thought. I said, oh my god, that's Ted Bundy. And I can't get that out of my head. So yeah, so if I put that in your head, sorry, but every time I look at him, I try to get the image of Ted Bundy out of my head. So that's in my brain, and I'm trying to get it out and think only of Henry Cavill instead. But aside from that, aside from my own you know, schema that I have for this guy's face, this action figure's face, aside from that, he's actually fantastic. Right? I mean, the detailing on the side. It's got a beautiful suit. I thought they did a stellar job on this, and it's probably one of the coolest action figures I own. I don't own many Superman action figures. I'm starting to collect some. Like I say, it said in my last vid on Lex Luthor's power armor. Just getting into Superman, and I love Superman. The comic is so awesome. And I listened for many years to people who said Superman was stupid because he was practically invincible, blah, 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 blah. But that's not true. If you read the comic on yourself and not listen to rumor and, you know, a couple of people's opinion that spreads like wildfire, Superman has a lot of vulnerabilities, right? He's not only vulnerable to kryptonite, he's vulnerable to losing his powers, you know, because he gets his powers from our yellow sun. So if he's away from the yellow sun, or if that radiation is blocked somehow, he loses everything. And I read a really cool comic series. I think it was from the 90s. I believe it was the Superman comic itself. It went through Superman, Action Comics, and another comic as well, I believe. And he essentially lost his powers. He was teleporting. He left Earth, you know, feeling so banged up, you know, mentally, and thought he was a, you know, bad influence and destructive. So he left Earth, flew away into the galaxy. He had a teleportation belt, teleported all around, and ended up in a, you know, stretch of the universe that had no yellow sun, and lost his powers, right? Or started gradually, became a gladiator on this alien planet and stuff. Amazing stories. Also, he's vulnerable to magic, right? Magic. He can do absolutely nothing against magic. So it's a massive vulnerability in a superhero universe. And also, his main vulnerability is a psychological one. So he's the one hero who's very susceptible to mental and psychological strain because he's got so much pressure on him to be perfect, right? Superman has a lot of weight on his shoulders, trying to save everyone. And he lives by a code of ethics where he'd give his own life to save, probably one human being. So Superman is extremely vulnerable, to psychological strain as well, right? So if you read the comics, and I really suggest you do, I've been starting off with the 70s and working my way up, and they're fantastic, right? Superman comics are fantastic. I'm a total convert. Anyway, enough of comparing a cool superhero to a serial killer. I love the action figure. Like I say, this isn't a review. This is just some chat. And it's not a good camera, not good lighting, not a good background, and an unprepared dialogue. But I'm just really getting into this and listening to my own voice and testing the waters to see if I'm interested in doing this at all. Okay, you should pick them up and try to get serial killers out of your head. Okay, take care.